Stream Elements said the busy builder is now live, streaming miniatures.
Whoops, I forgot to plug in the headphones. Oh well. Not feeling too motivated today, to be honest. But we'll try and get this done. I need to get this done. So first things first, besides breaking more of the tree, that's fine. Need to patch up this area right here. I'm just gonna pinch it, press it in. And that's just using more of the wall filler. Smooth it out a bit, make it even with the edge. No need for fancy veneers or anything like that. Just make it look okay. Turn down the gain a little bit so everything's not so blinding. Let's get a good brush. Gonna brush a little water on that just to help it settle. It probably would have been fine, but it just felt a little dry to me. So next, I couldn't get out to the curb before the snow buried it. So, little unused cat litter. Some white glue. The heck? Chunky. Again, a little bit of water just to thin it out. We're just going to go along and just add some gravel outside of the area where I put the tracks. A lot of it's going to be covered by snow, but I want something there, you know? Just a little more texture than just... Got some of that on some dry. Just a little suggestive texture. Gives us something to work with. Putting it along the side of the road where it most likely get kicked up and kicked to by passing vehicles. Meanwhile, anything in the track area will be compressed down and shoved in. Once it dries, you just knock off the rest. Just scrub that back and forth. Work it down in there. Some of those larger chunks are going to come off anyway. More glue. Sorry if I seem a little distracted today. Like I said, just feeling a little unmotivated, really. Just Looking forward to getting out of the house tomorrow. And you don't need to cover every square inch of it. All you're doing is trying to give a little bit of visual noise to the road base to show that it's dirt, you know, to show that it's gravel and rough.
At the model student Pointy asks, is that the finish?
That is, yeah. I haven't finished it. There's a lot of stuff that's fallen to the wayside. I call them squirrel moments. I'll get back to it soon enough. So I don't put the things back in the boxes once they've reached a certain point. That way they're always out, they're always there waiting on me. So, while the glue dries, I'm going to mix up some wash to kind of stain that wood. Make it look a bit more grayed out and weathered, less brand new. Yeah, definitely not feeling myself today. So we'll test it out on this popsicle stick. Yep. When that dries, it'll have that same gray, out in the weather feel. I just don't want to do it once the snow's down, because if any of it gets on the snow, it's going to stain the snow. And once you've stained the wood, you can actually come back with some other colors and dry brush it, change it up a little bit. Yeah, you see all these other guys micro painting and this and that. It's like, no. Use the grain to your advantage and just make it a uniformly dark gray color. Cuz that's what happens. It doesn't even have to be dark gray. You can go burnt umber. I went burnt umber and black. And it just brings it down just right. Add some more if you want it to be a bit deeper and richer. But that's all you need to do. It'll contrast nicely once the snow's down. Okay, let's get you over here for a sec. Wash the brush out. I didn't notice when I first used it, this is actually 2 sheets of photo etched barbed wire. I want to see how long one strand is. So if I start here, yeah, I can go there. Alright, cool. So, pretty straightforward stuff, but a bit flat. So, start twisting it. And just keep twisting it. And that'll start putting all the little barbs in all the different directions you want.
At the model student 20 said that stuff is neat.
So I'm still waiting on the wash to dry a little bit so the glue will properly bond. So I'm going to ready 3 of these. Want 1 on the top, 1 mid, 1 bottom. That's why when it came to like the vehicle and the subject and all that, I just wanted a nowhere in particular kind of thing. Not trying to place it in any one place, in any particular region. It's just a neat scene, some ideas, something to give the LAV, you know, a backdrop. That's it. Be careful while you're twisting it though, because if you drag your fingers along it the wrong way or too tight, you can slice yourself. Last one. If you want something more modern, especially for like a military encampment, look for concertina wire or razor wire. It's not the same as barbed wire. This is more of a farmer's field kind of situation, so barbed wire was fine. Ah. There. Okay. Yeah, I got it off Amazon for like 15 bucks. I don't even know if it's to scale. It looks all right. It works. But a supplier on Friday is definitely in order. Come on, you. Easier to paint once it's suspended, too. So that's why I'm installing it first. Damn it. Damn it! Definitely a short fuse day. This is why there's some days that I just don't stream, because I already know that I'm not in the best mindset, patience-wise. Okay, let's get you fucking secured so you stop getting in my face. And then we'll re-secure that one. No, I'm not afraid to swear. But there's some times that I just need to stop. Right? I need to just stop. That's kind of how I woke up feeling this morning. Like, is today going to be a day that I just need to stop? Hey, George. That's kind of what happened the other day when we had all the technical difficulties, and I just decided, okay, I'm stopping today then. Like, I honestly didn't know if I was even going to work on this today. But then I took a closer look at the helicopter. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to start something new yet. I need to finish this. I need to finish up a couple other things. Then we can look at new thing. I need to finish this. I need to finish the Abrams, the other LAV, the Fennec, the Centauro. And by finish, I don't mean anything really extraordinary. I just mean I need to put them on bases and get them finalized, you know? There we go. And yeah, I feel like I'm starting new stuff for the sake of starting new, instead of honestly, you know, getting other shit done. And I really need to work on the getting the other shit done aspect of things. Getting all the loose stuff I can off. that. And this. Since this is the color I originally used to mix into the spackle, we'll base in that. But it looks like it turned more into this drab brown color as it got lighter. So we'll use that as the road highlight. Yeah, I picked it up for 16 bucks too. I think it's like a $30 kit. Only thing wrong with it, the box is a little banged up.
At the model student 40 said the frame point looks tricky.
It's pretty straightforward from the look of it. Like I said, it's more the fact that I don't want to be starting another model just yet. I'm fighting that urge, you know. As nice as it would be, I don't want to start another one. And it's also part of staying consistent with this build too. It's like I want to finish it. It's near the end. There's no reason I can't finish it in the next day or two.
At the model student 40 said that the Whistler stuff seems to work well.
It does. Like I said, I think I mixed the original, the first hit of it too watery. But once I figured that out, the second batch went pretty well. Bunch of older, long forgotten techniques and materials I'm gonna add back to my repertoire. Come on. All the loose stuff, continue loosening up and flying off. Okay. Done with that color. Just remember, for the higher portions, I used styrofoam underneath to bulk it up. None of that expensive pink foam or anything like that. Just basic old styrofoam. Cut it with a steak knife. Or not a steak knife. You don't want serrated. Serrated will fuck it up, but just a good, sharp, straight blade knife. And all it is finely ground up paper mache.
As the model student pointing said, I have the hot wire cutters, they are nice.
Yeah, hot wire has its place, but when you're just looking for random lumps, good enough. Mr. Dipping Gamer, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel as well. How are you? Spaceballs. The scene where John Hurt gets to reenact the scene from Alien again. Ooh, so formal here. Even I don't get that formal. Wow. Ow. Yeah, Twitch has been weird lately. It's like I'm playing a weird game of get a follower, lose a follower, get a follower, lose a follower. Oh. So I've been hovering between like 753 and 54 for like a year now. How are you, Mr. Gamer? So you're dipping work to watch my stream, huh? 12:30. I used to be able to, then I got old. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. We don't bite much here. But be aware, my audience can be a bit protective. Save that for a minute. I want this one. No worries. We haven't had any feather rilers in a while. But at the same time, one must be cautious. And we're just doing some basic groundwork stuff today. All the painting stuff was yesterday, as far as like interesting stuff. Yeah, we did like wet streaks and dust and dirt. Come on, autofocus. Still gotta work on the figure. We'll be adding some snow onto the base and onto the vehicle to help give it that, okay, why is this wet thought process. Where's the paint I was just shaking? There it is. Is a World War II, 46, Hot War. Yeah. I'm working on a 251C half-track with the rocket mortars. It's going to be a bit till I get back to it. Okay. So I'm just going over some of the tire track in a lighter color, just to pop out the detail and the idea that it's there. Not really trying to be perfect with anything, just giving it some contrast. Oh, and there we go, moving some gravel, which I didn't want to do. That's okay, it happens. Hey, Ball Vance, how you doing? Welcome back. A 1/6 scale Leopard 2A6. She lives out in my shed. I haven't had that moving in quite some time. It needs a total electrical overhaul.
And Ballfan7 said, do you have the Bismarck?
Nope. I don't do a lot of ships, unfortunately.
And Ballfan7 said 1 to 6.
Allie.
And Ballfan7 said, wow.
Make some room for the kitty cat.
And Ballfan7 said, what brand is it?
I don't know if the brand is still in business, but it was through Mark 1 Tanks, the UK. Bought it when I lived over there. It needs a lot of work. Didn't knock off enough of the gravel. That's alright. A lot of that's going to be buried under snow. Just trying to see if I can pop some of it real quick. Just in case I don't bury it all. Maybe I shouldn't have thinned out that glue. That's another wheel hole I've got to get cleared. Just trying to make sure I'll be able to set the wheels back down in. And I got a stone right in the middle of it. There we go. That's good enough, I think. I really didn't get much cleaning done yesterday either. Just, I kind of shut down after I stopped the stream. I just kind of just, it felt almost like powering off. Just done. Can't explain why. Just. It's interesting to see the base like this all messy. Giving the barbed wire a deep umber rust color. I almost want to see if I can find a small bird in one of my parts boxes here. And either have it on the fence or on the tree somewhere. I know one of the Tamiya sets came with a bird, I just don't have it. Their livestock set had like chickens and stuff, but I know one of them came with a bird. Like a sparrow or crow or something. Pause real quick.
At the model, student 20 said it looks cold and uninviting. I have walked that road before, grinning face with sweat emoji, gaskin in hand.
There we go. Sorry, I just got a ridiculous tickle in my ear.
At the model, student 20 said hi ball face.
I want to see something. Whoa. Whoever's subbing on the YouTube side, thank you. We just went from 88 to 91. We got 9 more till we pop 800. But every time I say that, somebody unsubs. Oh well. Alright, time to get this side of the barbed wire. You can barely see it. Hi, Allie. No, 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 no. No camera time for Allie today, okay? At least not right now, girl, okay? Can you go back to sitting on the desk? Hmm? Hey, Over here. I made you a spot. Good girl. Thank you. Lie down. Lie down. Right here. Come on. I don't have a box for you right now. Sorry. I hope everybody's having a good Thursday, though. As I said, most likely no stream tomorrow. I think I need to take a day off from it regardless, and it's been a while since the wife and I had a day out with each other. So that's what we're doing. Don't know what we'll find while we're out there. Okay. Alright, now on to what I would like to call the fun part. I guess we'll find out. Where'd you go? Allie? Kitty! Oh, you're in your donut. Where is... I guess we'll work off this one.
At Almanac asks Jesus, am I banned from chatting? The hello is not coming through.
No, you're not banned. I haven't banned anybody. It depends on the terminology you've been using when you said hello. Let me see here. Yep, thank you for subscribing. Oh, no, let's turn that off. Yeah, I am not showing any held messages. So, I don't know what's going on there. It's probably a YouTube thing, given all the crap they've been going through the past couple days. So, welcome back, though. Do I want this, or do I want... We're going to be going bigger amounts, so... I need to find something else to put my gravel in. We'll just put it here for right now. And I'll knock it over later. And have to vacuum it up, so that's good. So... time for my bespoke snow mix. A little bit of white glue. A lot of bit of baking soda. And a little bit of water. Using bottled water.
At Almanac said same name on other platforms. This is getting tiresome.
What do you mean? I'm on Twitch. It's the Busy Builder over there too. Hey, why is that clumping like that? That should not be doing that. Okay, that's not working out right. What the absolute hell? I've never seen it do that before. That was fucking weird. I think I went too heavy with the water. But yeah, I'm on Twitch as the Busy Builder over there too. Has anybody else on YouTube had issue contacting me? So let's try this again. We're going to do white glue. Probably a little less baking soda. And a lot less water. Where's my dropper? My pipette. Okay. Okay. Get some music going again. The water's just meant to thin it down a little bit, not to make it completely unusable like it just was. I guess we'll work in smaller batches then. I wanted to work in a slightly larger batch to cover more, but that's alright.
At the model student 20 said stick with it grinning face with sweat emoji thumbs up emoji.
Okay. Get it down in the middle of the road here. And this is kind of what I was worried about using the mission model stuff, is it leaches up into it, which at the edge of the road I'm not too concerned with. And the reason for the baking soda is it gives it that texture and glitter that it kind of needs. And baking soda stays white longer. Come on, I've mixed larger batches before, so let's... Could be the glue I'm using is old too. And I want that larger brush back for scooping and spreading. A tad bit more water. Just a bit more spreadability. Because you see how it kind of self-levels too. As I said, I don't know how much of this gravel's going to show through. I don't mind that it's leaching a little bit of the color.
Almanax just followed.
Thank you for the follow, Almanax. I see you're on the Twitch side as well. Is anybody else on the YouTube side having difficulty chatting? Messages blocked, anything like that? Let me know. Ooh. Yeah, this is probably going to take a bit longer than expected. Let's get you out of here. Let's get you more down here. And I don't mind if the color leaches a little bit on the center and towards the roadside edge, because it looks like that nasty, muddy water that gets splashed on it.
Join chatting the other place, as it requires verification of phone number, which I would allow them to contact and share if entered.
All it does for that is it's for the two-factor authentication to allow you to use the site safely. When you log in, they send you a code, so that way they know it's you. Every place is using it now. It's just part of 2FA. Even Google uses it. So if you're on YouTube, they already have the information they need.
Had Almanac said so, we'll have to live with the chat bugs here.
Okay, now we're getting it to lay down a bit better. I don't know, is that starting to look like melty snowiness? I don't have a dirt road near my house to go look at because it's been snowing here recently. I just have the street in front of my house, but it's paved. I'll be getting the clear out to do like a wetness to the road too, so it's like runoff. I think it's starting to get that look.
At Jeff Brummett 2449 said, "Good day, gents, scissor."
Hey Jeff, how you doing? Why are we scissoring? Wait a minute. Just doing some slow snow.
Had Almanac said, "Looks exactly like the Vallejo product from here."
Except all it is baking soda, white glue, and water. That's the kind of the point of this whole exercise, is we're using all the old techniques that these companies think that they're making replacements for, but charging top dollar for it. Because I always talk about it, but one day I just decided to put my money where my mouth is and see what I could do. Because when it comes to doing the hobby, the price of the kits already sets the bar pretty damned high. So how does it help a beginning modeler if he believes that they have to spend another couple $100 just to paint and weather that kit? I know. I appreciate it too. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. Okay, there we go. I've just never used the Vallejo stuff, so... Not the snow, anyway. I've used their ground texture and their color washes and stuff, which are fine. You know, they work okay. But I've not gone as far as using their snow effect. But that's what we're looking at so far. We'll be adding some to the vehicle too, just to sell the fact that it's been snowed on and melted, because the vehicle in the sun heats up quicker than the ground or the road.
Jeff Brummett, 2449, said folks don't realize the work and hours that go into the thumbs up emoji, oncoming fist emoji.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, it's not just the hours, it feels like predatory practices when, oh, you're using tissue for tarps? Here, let me sell you an adhesive that is strictly called Tissue Fix for affixing tissues as tarps on models. You know what I got for Tissue Fix? Where did it go? I lost my Tissue Fix. No, this shit. That's all it is. But they actually have crap marketed specifically for that now. And somebody will probably try explaining it off. Well, it doesn't do this and that to the paint and this and that. It's like, no. Alright. See, I haven't used this technique in a little bit either, so I have my own learning curve that I'm dealing with. There we go. Clean out the brush. We're going to be doing some rinse and repeat on this, that's for sure. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask. There are no secrets here.
At Almanac asks, will the tire tracks be muddy and have puddles?
that's what I'm gonna aim for. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna aim for. I'll have to see how absorbent the base material is. I might have to give it a couple coats, but yeah, I want to have especially shiny areas in the middle. And see if I can get the floor stuff to puddle up properly. This is the old school technique for that. Just clear acrylic. That's it. This mix is getting a little dry here. So I'm gonna pile it up around the tree if I can. Baking soda. Now, you see it leaching here? Looks like somebody peed in it. That's because I used Mission Models paints. I should have sealed it. I didn't think about it. That's my fault. It really is. And that's part of what I like about it. Because it has that... In a way, it has that same matte finish that freshly fallen snow has. But if you do it right, it can also have a little bit of glitter to it. If you want it to glitter more, add a little bit of table salt to it. Just a pinch of table salt, just to give it that sparkliness. In a way, though, I like the leaching on here because it looks like mud that's been splashed up onto the snow. I might enhance that a little bit with some thin paint once it dries. Kind of pulling a Bob Ross here and working with the happy accidents. And just work it in small, manageable batches. May have gone too small in that batch, but that's all right. Yeah, I think the next one we do will be more late summer, early fall setting. More leaves on trees kind of stuff. Yeah, I should have mixed up a larger batch there. That's fine. Get the rest of this off. I'm not trying to pad out the stream time. I really just misjudged how much I mixed. But I do appreciate all the subs and follows. But Almanacs, as far as Twitch, I've been on there for over 10 years now and never had a security issue, so I can vouch for their side of things. That's if the YouTube comment section still continues to act up for you. The And this stuff can actually dry pretty hard and resilient. Like I said, the baking soda doesn't lose its whiteness. This week's an odd one because I've taken a week off from work just to kind of have some time to myself. Typically twice a week. It won't show me. I've been looking, there's nothing. Yeah, it's not showing me anything. Yeah, no moderation, no nothing. Okay, yeah, this one I wanted a bit soupier because we're moving up here. It happens. The other thing I couldn't find the other day that I wanted to use, I wanted to get a cheap chip brush. Say that 5 times fast. Cut some of the bristles and have them down along the fence posts as weeds growing. That way they could stick out through the snow. But yeah, I couldn't even find a cheap old chip brush at the dollar store. It's almost like somebody learned they sell arts and craft supplies there, cheap, that aren't total crap. Oh, fudgesicle. Ow. But as far as my streaming days, typically at least twice a week. Usually on Mondays and Fridays, or Sundays and Fridays, or Sundays and Mondays. I usually update the next stream day on the stream that I'm doing. So like, say today was my last day for the week and I had to go back to work, I'd be like, okay, I'll be streaming again on Friday, so see you then. Tomorrow I'm actually taking a down day from streaming and having some quality time with the wife. So I won't be on tomorrow, but I'll be on Saturday and Sunday. And then after Sunday, my next day after that will be Friday, because I go back to work.
Locator said, let me try a different account. The artist formerly known as Almanacs.
If the issue persists, it could quite well be the language you are choosing to use. If the King's English doesn't work, try some sub-variant of Cockney. See, that's starting to leach too much. I might have to let that dry and add more. I hate that olive drab paint that does that.
Locator said the bleed through of the brown in the snow adds to the melted snow and muddy road feel.
I hope I can tie it in when I do the wetness for the road. It's been a long time since I've done snow on a large scale. I tried the Vallejo frosting effect stuff. It worked okay. It worked really well on the static grass and actually looked like frosted grass. But as far as the vehicle, for the effect I wanted, it didn't work. Come on. I really don't like using my fingers, but I might have to.
At the model student 20 said all located almanacs. I remember you from such memorable films as rolling on the floor laughing emoji. At Mokeda said ha 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 ha.
Why do I get the feeling you two know each other? Yeah, too dry.
At the model student 20 said looks like wet snow to me mate.
Well, that's what we're trying to go for. Just don't eat the yellow snow. We still have this half the road to do, too.
At the model student 20 said didn't even need shaving gel. Grinning face with sweat emoji.
Well, that's just it. Shaving gel's expensive, man. Definitely have to go a lot wetter with the stuff in the trees.
At the model student 20 said especially the bespoke modeling gels.
Yes, bespoke. Yes. I'm just making a mess all over the place, ain't I?
Said we don't know each other at all. It's quite a reference, often used in older The Simpsons episodes. At Mokeda said, hi, I'm Troy McClure. You might remember me from such self-help videos as Smoke Yourself Thin, Get Confident,
I haven't watched The Simpsons in a very long time.
Else on DOS Spitfire, finally. Grinning face with sweat emoji.
Those decals are gonna take you way too long.
At the model student 20 said rolling on the floor laughing emoji toying Rainier Wolf Castle rolling on the floor laughing emoji water funny.
Like I said, I haven't watched The Simpsons in a very long time. It used to be funny because it made fun of everything. Then it picked a side, and that's when it stopped being funny. Okay, that about looks like how that bush in my front yard looked yesterday after the snowstorm.
At the model student 20 said me neither I'm onto primal lately I love it.
I haven't really found a show to get into lately.
At Locata said a bit of context behind the name. Seeing as you all have scale modeling relevant names. Moke dog is
Ah.
casual Japanese for it's a model, winking face emoji.
Let's get the other side of the road going. Then I'll see about mixing just some baking soda with the quick shine and putting it along the edge to start working in that icy kind of feeling. And the quick shine may not react like the water does to the paint. Or I may seal it first, then go back and try and do the iciness. Part of me's thinking I should have wet the base a little bit first. Maybe that's part of the steps I'm forgetting. I don't know. At this point, I can safely say I've forgotten more about model building than most people know these days.
At Located said regarding looking for shows to like, I am hoping the upcoming Stargate series will be a return to form.
Stargate existed when it did for a reason. The movie was good. The original
At the model student
series.
said your girls are taking us to task in hockey today, USA,
Yeah.
grinning face with sweat emoji loose, I'm cheering the wrong
Yeah,
team.
but the series was originally done for Cinemax. I don't know if you've ever seen the unedited first episodes of SG-1. I think it was a 5-episode miniseries. Takes place right after the events of the movie. Yeah, that was pure Skinemax. Boobs galore. And then it took off from that.
At the model student 20 said yeah, that would be great in new space, 1999 would be cool I guess 2099 now. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Honestly,
At Located said full frontal and everything.
yeah, it was.
At the model student 20 said rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Honestly, a second shot at Space 1999 would probably do well if they handled it. I don't want to say like dramatic like they did Battlestar Galactica, but if they handled it more grounded like they did with the New Galactica, I think a second shot at Space 1999 could actually work. There's some things in that show that just don't work, but I think if they were able to ground it a bit more, it could take off today. Yeah, I don't really think that original Stargate series was supposed to take off like it did. I really think it was meant to be a one-off on Cinemax back in the 90s because somebody wanted a sequel and that was it.
Said, does it need a 3D printed squirrel? Maybe.
No printing. There's no printing on this. There's nothing new. This is all pre 2000 in terms of what I've used and what I've done.
At the model student 20 said rewrite my bad.
That's why I was thinking of where else I could get a small bird or sparrow or something. Or a red-winged blackbird to put on the base. You left out one very important Sci-Fi Channel show.
Big deal, I guess.
Yo, way, yo. How can you mention all those shows and not mention the greatest show of them all? Lex. No, that thing actually showed up here yesterday. You've never seen Lex? Go now! Turn in your geek card.
At the model student 20 said Lex.
That show was peak sci-fi fever dream acid trip weirdness. Hell, I got the soundtrack around here somewhere.
No, I've seen it. I wrote that long before your TTS read it. I
Oh.
was asking if Lex was the show I missed out on mentioning.
Yes, Lex was the show you missed out on mentioning. And then there was always the Friday Night Frights on regular cable TV. Had like Friday the 13th, the series, Freddy's Nightmares, War of the Worlds. A lot of people forgot there was a War of the Worlds TV show that was a sequel to the 53 film. Now we're getting someplace.
At the model student 20 said, dude, I grew up with Starlost in Canada. It was B-A-R-U-U-U-T-A-L. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
What the fuck was that? Ugh, that's too much baking powder. I don't give a shit. We're at the home stretch here. We're just kind of.
At Mokeda said we also have to include Babylon 5, then for its superior full arc storytelling.
See, Babylon 5 was hard for me to get into.
Rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
I appreciate it for what it was, and a lot of what made it what it was put into Battlestar and Deep Space Nine. Some of the same writers switched over. I think it was what made Babylon 5 difficult for me to get into was the inconsistency of the show. Some episodes you could tell they took their time with and really, rehearsed and prepped and made sure things worked. And then other times you could hear the cardboard doors.
Never heard of Sarlost. You missed the greatest cringe fest ever.
Well, I've heard of it, just never cared to watch it. But yeah, Babylon 5, it was the production inconsistencies which really kept me from enjoying it. There's always something that would take me out of an episode because it was just so
Model student 20
eh.
said above and beyond smiling face with sunglasses emoji.
Sub was good. Sub was good. Supposedly Firefly will be back this summer. I don't know if they're going to keep Nathan Fillion and what's her name? Summer Glau, but they're supposed to be in it. With a bunch of new people. We all know how that always goes. We'll see.
At Locata said new space, above and beyond. Amazing canceled too soon shows on par with Firefly.
Thing is, I think Space Above and Beyond was its own worst enemy. Good show. Aim too high from the start.
20 said Firefly is a good one.
Firefly was handled by a bunch of people who didn't understand the show, period. They didn't want the build-up, they wanted the immediate action, so they aired them out of order. Let's see here. Now, it's a shame they never got the Roadside Picnic miniseries worked out. Or did I just really get into some obscure sci-fi there with that? But yeah, AMC was supposed to do a miniseries based on the Roadside Picnic novel back when The Walking Dead was starting to wind down. They even had concept art. I think they even had a teaser trailer out. And it just disappeared.
At Locata said Firefly is returning. Is Joss Whedon finally out of Hollywood prison? At Locata asks.
I don't know so much about that. I've just seen things online saying, hey, it'll be back this 1990, or not 1996, 2026. And I've not seen anything refuting it yet. A lot of Nathan Fillion's contracts are winding down from his other shows like The Rookie. He's come a long way since The Crying Soldier and Saving Private Ryan. Alright, next step. Let's get the sealer on and start making it look wet. Ow! And clean out the dish. Ow! Note to self, don't drink out of this bottle, because God knows what else has been in that pipette. Yeah, I don't know if it's anything to do with Joss Whedon being out of his so-called exile or whatever. Disney bought Fox. Fox owned Firefly. Disney owns Firefly. Well, if you go back and watch Saving Private Ryan, he's the wrong Private Ryan they run into. He's got to call his brother and all that stuff. Hopefully this will tie everything down, too, a bit better. You're not wrong. We'll let that kind of level out on there. What, you mean make it not for the people it was intended for in the first place? Totally disregard the people who made it the brand it was? Disregard 40 years of storytelling to throw out the EU that they establish? Even though the EU was not, you know, certifiably canonical to the movies, they tried their best to not break the story. And then Disney's like, oh, we don't need this expanded universe that you've made since the 1990s, so we're going to throw it out. Only to start raping that expanded universe for characters and story ideas like Grand Admiral Thrawn? You mean that? Well, you know someone's doing it as tax write-offs. You know. Okay, let me get this out of the way, because I've got to make up a little bit more of our snow mix. Nah, I'm not going to worry about putting it on top of the fence posts. There. Yeah, the base isn't turning out as pretty as I'd like. There won't be any icicles, really, because once the sun's out, it's gone. The icicles will be gone. I noticed that on my car today. It had icicles yesterday while it was snowing, but as soon as the sun was out, they're gone. And we need to mix up the snow mix for the vehicle anyway. Forgot to put it on that. Starting to. I want to kind of blend the edge a bit more with some more translucent mix. But I want the sealant to work first so I don't get as much of that leaching. Because I might cover some of that up. I don't like how that happened. Oh, same here. We got about a foot and a half in 2 hours yesterday. There was a pause in the storm, so I went and shoveled and put out salt, and then it started again. So I'm like, ah, great. No, the air temperature went up just enough that combined with that and the salt, everything kind of calmed down and nothing stuck. I want a smaller brush. That one will do. Get that there. My ugly water. See, note to everybody else out there who uses a mug or cup on their desk. Don't. Just get yourself a Tupperware dish. You won't run the risk of drinking out of it, and you won't knock it over as easily. It almost seems like the glue doesn't like this water. And it's working, just not as well as I'd like it to. It's just Tupperware. I would not. All the crap that is now infesting Doctor Who due to the BBC can be traced back to Torchwood. The political stuff. That's when it started. What's the mix you tried? Sorry.
At the model student 20 said I like my Tom Baker best.
Doctor Who stopped being about the adventure and the stories. And it's never recovered. He was never meant to fall in love with his companions. None of that crap.
Sorry link didn't go through.
I think that's why people liked Matt Smith so much, even after David Tennant. Because the way he embraced the character when he took it over brought it back to where the character was from in terms of his eccentricities, all that. Took it back a bit.
At the model student 20 said it's the shaving cream baking soda snow and behaves differently.
Probably putting more than I should on here, but I've seen it both ways on some vehicles. Just some of them look completely thawed out, just wet. Others have snow built up in the little
At the model
cracks and
student
corners.
20 said clumpier and you can sift it.
You can make this clumpy too. It just depends on how thick you make it.
At the model student 20 said that is good wet snow.
Not gonna have too much here because that's the engine deck. That gets nice and toasty. And around the exhaust it's going to be difficult. Maybe some just through here.
At Locator asks, might seem like a random reference, but have you seen the anime Clearing, Beyond Journey's End?
I tried watching it. It's an interesting idea on like what happens after the big campaign kind of thing. What turned me off to it was the art style, believe it or not. And maybe I'm reading it right, just everybody's drawn and acts like they're inconsolably depressed about life. Even the way they're drawn, just the hooded eyes, the lackadaisical attitude, everything just... And I'm tired of my anime depressing me. Evangelion messed up a lot of shit in '97. Allie, you left me a hair. Damn it. I don't want to overdo it on the snow, but I gotta sell it. You know, I gotta... Thing is, Doctor Who never got that depressing. Doctor Who, as a character, embraced life. That's why he was always, oh, let's go. There's sometimes they tried to bring that kind of shit into it, and it really didn't work that well. And he'd even talk about how he's seen this happen and that happen, because he's essentially an immortal being. Take that as you will. Being a time traveler, he can go from one end of time to the other, any place, so God knows what he's actually seen. But he's seen enough. Ooh, I like how it's soaking up into the cardboard. It better stay like that. Come on. Come on, work. Autofocus. Be nice. Let's get some down into here. And a lot of people have also forgotten, Doctor Who started out as a kids' educational show, using a time-traveling character. But it turned out the episodes that were popular were the ones where he got into the more sci-fi adventures and stuff like that. So they decided to run with it. And it's become what it is today. But yeah, it started out as a, hey, let's go to Roman times, let's go to here, let's go to there. Yeah, I think that'll be it for the snow. That's just enough. Actually, while I got it out, I may as well. I don't know how long it'll last up there, if it'll bond well enough to stay up there, or if it'll fall off the first time I sneeze wrong at it, but we're gonna have the snow on top of the posts. See, it already came off. Oh no, we haven't. Red Dwarf just happens to exist on its own weird, unmatchable level. And I think I heard rumor of a Blake 7 reboot coming. Be interesting to see a modern take on the Liberator. I think we'll leave that like that for right now. And let's test something. thinner mix towards the edge here. Allow more of that dirt color through, but not leach.
At the model student 20 said that was a weird looking ship.
We're gonna try it with this though instead of water. Just this and some baking soda. Are you talking about Doctor Who or Blake 7? Can we give Paul McGann another go as the Doctor? So my hope is as the mix dries, it kind of acts like a wash, and the baking soda will be lightly suspended in it with the clear gloss and give it more of an icy look. Like the heavier, wetter snow you'd find on the edge of the road mixed with the water. We'll see. I could just be thinking out my ass. I don't know. Seems to be doing it, actually. Ooh, we're onto something, guys. Oh. Didn't the UK one actually make a joke at that? Like some kind of multiverse crossover episode? I could have sworn they had. I really wish they'd stop trying to make US versions of UK shows like The Office, Spaced, all that. There's a certain charm that's lost when you don't have the Liverpool accent and attitude on certain characters.
At the model student 20 asks, looking like a wet, cold country road, have you seen Scavenger's Reign?
Yes, that I actually liked. There's some stuff it could have done without. But overall, they threaded that line very well, and as good as it was, I hope it doesn't get a sequel or anything like that. I know they've been talking about it, and it's been up in the air and turned down and all that, but I hope they don't. Simple matter is, Some things are good as a one-shot. They don't need a sequel. Put that time and energy into something new.
They had a show where they met female versions of themselves.
Ugh. Okay. Alright, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want?
At the model student 20 said the Mobius look was done well.
It wasn't even the Mobius look. It actually felt pretty unique. You could tell the Mobius influence.
At Mokeda said, or maybe you are thing of the Ace Rimmer superhero version.
I might be thinking of the Ace Rimmer superhero one. Where is the one I want? Okay. Well, no, I'm just trying to get some music up. God, I haven't taken a break yet, so. Alright, I can't find it.
At the model student 20 said, oh yeah, it was a good concept, National Geographic in space rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
It was more than that. There was some interesting interpersonal stuff that could have worked on a more broad level. But overall, it was a good idea. I'll be right back. I'm going to take a break, move around a bit. It's been 2.5 hours.
The model student 20 said, smiling face with sunglasses emoji.
I ripped the wings from the ascendant, drag the halos through the dirt. Crown of thorns meets crown of steel, let them choke on what they're worth.
At the model student 20 said, dog walk back in 20-ish cowboy hat face emoji.
They worship, tear the hymn from screaming mouths, silence every sacred verse. You built your kingdom on submission, fought your law from fear and shame.
Alright, I'm back. I just needed a good stretch, and I didn't think you'd need to sit there and listen to me going in the background. Okay, come on.
At Mokeda said, we saved in the snow.
I like how that turned out there, though. It looks either like wet frozen or windswept. So yeah, mixing the baking soda in with the floor shine also produces interesting results. Developed a new technique while we're sitting here. I'm pretty sure somebody else has done this, but I feel like I've developed something. Trying to eliminate just a little bit of that yellow snow look. You know, I'm probably gonna get some flack for this. I was never really a big fan of the Evil Dead series. I've seen them,
At the model
I appreciate
studio
them for what they are,
China GIF looks great made.
but I don't know, just never really a fan. I even get the Bruce Campbell cameo in Darkman and the cameo of the car in Darkman and all the other things where Bruce Campbell is somewhere in almost every Sam Raimi film. But yeah, the whole Evil Dead Army of Darkness thing I could never really get into. Bigger brush. Don't know how much longer we'll be on, but I figured I'd put on something a bit more high energy. Like I said, I haven't even worked on the figure yet.
Said the Army of Darkness has just sued. Quotable face with tears of joy emoji.
Army of Darkness has almost become over-quoted, unfortunately. I know we lost part of the track back there, that's fine. This isn't going in an IPMS contest, and even if it was, they don't judge the bases.
Had located said this is my boomstick.
Like, I know the quotes, just I think the films are a little overhyped. Yeah, it's almost like I made a wash for snow. That's so weird. One that isn't that frost effect. Trying to make some puddles appear. At least where they'll be seen. Because I still have to go back and kind of wet the bottom of the vehicle too. go. There, the middle looks less yellow and more dirt. Now, I wish there was a way I could replicate that easily without spreading it too far, because I'd like to put that underneath the branches. I don't know if you've ever looked at the snow as a tree is melted. You get yellow deposits like that in the snow under the branches. Like, I know how the effect occurred. There's no way for me to replicate it that fine, though. These sealed up. It looks like the celluclay is being a little too absorbent for puddles to work well. I do have one other option. Might do it tomorrow, because we still have a figure to paint. And I might...
At Locator said if expanding to cinema, I am looking forward to Hail Mary.
I'm not. It's... what was that movie with Cillian Murphy? Or Killian, however you want to say his name. Go ahead and remove the tape. I'm going to call the base done. But we still have to work on the vehicle a little more. And we have to do the figure. So that might be a good finisher off Saturday stream. But for trying to use techniques that I've half forgotten about, I kind of like how this is turning out so far. I might refine the snow with another layer, just to smooth it more. But I like how that's coming out now. So I'll probably affix the vehicle to it, and then maybe tomorrow we can address making that look a little more wet on there, because it's kind of solidified. You can go back with water and kind of break it up, slurry it out a little bit. But, yeah, we're on a good path here. But I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Got more than I expected, but I got to let stuff dry if I'm going to do anything more. And, yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. We're just under 3 hours. And there's other things I still want to do here that I didn't get to yesterday. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the subs on the YouTube side. Thanks for the follows.